Something your cat just froze mid-bite, mid-step, mid-breath. You said one specific word and G shifted inside their mind in less than a second. Not because they simply heard a sound, but because they understood something about it, something tied to memory, experience, and expectation. And the last word in this entire idea, the one most owners repeat without thinking, might actually be quietly damaging the trust your cat has built with you over time. You need to understand this before you say it again, because whether you realize it or not, you have been training your cat every single day just by the way you speak. Welcome to Cat Mind, the place where we go deeper than surface behavior and start to understand what is really happening inside your cat's brain, because once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Picture this clearly. You are across the room, doing something completely unrelated. Your cat is curled up, eyes half closed, body still, looking like they are completely disconnected from everything around them. You softly say their name just once, not loudly, not excited, just naturally, and suddenly there is a shift. Their ears rotate toward you. Their eyes open just a little wider. Their head lifts, not fully, just enough to confirm what they heard. You did not move toward them. You did not shake food. You did not make any obvious signal except that one word. That moment is not random, and it is not accidental. It is the result of a cognitive process that has been building quietly inside your cat over hundreds, even thousands of small interactions. For a long time, people believed cats were indifferent to human language, that they only reacted to tone or routine and not actual words. But research over the past decade has shown something much more interesting. Cats can recognize their own names, even when spoken by unfamiliar voices, even when hidden in a stream of other words, even when there is no emotional emphasis attached. Their brains are constantly filtering sound in the background, not actively, not in a way you can see, but passively, always scanning for something that matters to them. And when that signal appears, when their name surfaces out of everything else, their attention shifts instantly. This means your cat is listening far more than you think, even when they look completely uninterested. But recognition is only one part of the story. Understanding why your cat sometimes responds and sometimes ignores you is where things become truly fascinating. Cats do not operate on automatic obedience. They operate on evaluation. Every time you have said your cat's name in the past, something followed. Sometimes it was food, sometimes it was play, sometimes it was affection, and sometimes it was something they did not enjoy, like being picked up, moved, or disturbed when they wanted to be left alone. Your cat has been recording all of this, not consciously like a human writing notes, but through repeated association. Over time, they have built an internal prediction system that answers one simple question every time they hear you call them. What happens next? This is why your cat does not always come when called. It is not because they are stubborn or disrespectful. It is because they are making a decision. If their past experience tells them that coming to you usually leads to something positive, they are far more likely to respond. If their experience is mixed or negative, they hesitate or ignore you completely. That pause you see, that moment where they look at you and then look away, is not confusion. It is calculation. Your cat is asking themselves whether the outcome is worth their energy, and that level of decision-making is something most owners completely underestimate. Now consider what happens when you repeat their name over and over again. The first time you say it, it has meaning. The second time, slightly less. By the third, fourth, or fifth time, if nothing meaningful happens, the signal begins to lose value. In your mind, you are trying harder to get their attention, but in your cat's mind, you are teaching them that the word can be ignored without consequence. Repetition without purpose weakens communication. The cats who respond most consistently to their names are not the ones who hear it the most, but the ones who have learned that it always leads to something clear, predictable, and worth responding to. Then there is the word almost every cat owner uses instinctively, often without thinking about what it actually means from the cat's perspective. The word no. You see your cat about to knock something off a table, scratch furniture, or do something you do not want, and the word comes out quickly, sharply, sometimes loudly. The behavior pauses. Your cat looks at you. Maybe they stop for a moment, maybe they walk away. It feels like the word worked. But what actually happened is something very different. Your cat did not learn a rule. Your cat reacted to an interruption. The sharpness of the sound, The sudden change in tone, the break in the normal pattern of your voice triggers a brief pause in behavior. It redirects attention, but it does not explain anything. Your cat does not understand why the action was wrong, or what they should do instead. So, after a short time, the behavior returns because nothing meaningful replaced it. Over time, if no is used frequently, especially with frustration or inconsistency, something more subtle begins to happen. Your cat starts associating that tone, that sharpness, not just with the behavior, but with you. Cats are highly sensitive to emotional consistency. They rely on predictability to feel safe. If your reactions become unpredictable, sometimes calm, sometimes sharp, sometimes loud, your presence begins to carry a slight sense of uncertainty. Not fear necessarily, but tension. And tension erodes trust slowly, almost invisibly, over time. This is why the most effective way to guide a cat's behavior is not through repeated correction, but through redirection. Showing them what to do instead, creating alternative behaviors that are rewarded and reinforced, builds clarity. And clarity is what allows your cat to feel secure in their environment. Now think about words connected to positive experiences, especially something like food. You might not even realize how consistent you have been, but your cat has. The sound of a container opening, a specific word you use before feeding them, even the way you move at certain times of day, all of these signals become linked together. Eventually, the word itself is enough to trigger a response. Their ears move forward, their body becomes alert, their focus sharpens. This is anticipation, built through repeated, reliable experience. Your cat is not just reacting in the moment, they are predicting what is about to happen. What makes this even more interesting is that your cat is not only learning individual words, they are learning entire patterns of your behavior. The way your footsteps sound when you walk toward the kitchen versus another room, the timing of your routines, the subtle differences in your movements, all of this becomes part of a larger model they build about you. Your cat understands your habits far more than you realize. They know when you are about to leave, when you are about to feed them, when you are available, and when you are not, all based on patterns you never intentionally taught. In homes with multiple people, this learning extends even further. Your cat can begin to recognize the names of individuals not just as sounds, but as signals connected to specific people. When a name is spoken, and that person consistently appears or becomes relevant, the association forms. Over time, your cat may look toward the door, the usual sitting place, or the direction that person typically comes from. This is not coincidence. It is the result of repeated exposure and pattern recognition. Your cat is building a social map of their environment, understanding who is who and what they represent. And then we come to the most important word, the one that carries more meaning than all the others combined. The word come. With cats, this word is different because it is not based on obedience. It is based entirely on trust. When a cat comes to you, especially when they were not already seeking something, they are making a choice. That choice is built on every interaction you have ever had with them. Every positive moment, every time you respected their boundaries, every time you made them feel safe, all of it accumulates. When your cat hears you call them and decides to move toward you, they are responding to more than a sound. They are responding to a history. If that history is filled with positive outcomes, warmth, safety, and consistency, they come more readily. If that history is mixed or uncertain, they hesitate. The difference is not just behavioral, it is emotional. One response is driven by trust, the other by doubt. This is why the way you speak to your cat matters more than the specific words you use. Your tone, your consistency, your timing, all of it shapes how those words are interpreted. Your cat processes not just what you say, but how you say it and what usually follows. Over time, your voice becomes more than sound. It becomes a predictor of experience. So when your cat freezes mid-movement after hearing you speak, when their attention shifts instantly, when they choose to respond or not respond, you are seeing the result of a complex internal system built entirely from their life with you. You have been communicating with your cat from the very beginning, whether you realized it or not. They have been listening, observing, learning, and deciding. And now that you understand what is really happening, you can start to shape those interactions more intentionally, building not just better behavior, but a stronger, deeper connection that your cat chooses to return to again and again.